Okay, I think I'm going to do a little bit now about phrasal verbs, because I was asked last week to talk about phrasal verbs, so why not have a look at them now? What are phrasal verbs? Oh, look at that, as if by magic. Popping up on my screen in front of me, we have some information about phrasal verbs. It also gives me a chance to tidy up my studio whilst I'm off camera. Phrasal verbs. A phrasal verb is a verb that is made up of a main verb together with an adverb or preposition, or both, of course. Typically, their meaning is not obvious from the meanings of the individual words themselves. For example, she has always looked down on me. In that sentence, it seems as if we are talking about a situation where one person is high up, maybe on a rooftop or on a mountain, and they are looking down at someone else. But it isn't. It's nothing like that. It is what we call a figurative expression or a figurative use of words. So in other words, to look down on someone means to think that you are better than someone else, or maybe you look down on everyone. Maybe you think you are better than everyone around you. So in this sense, to look down means to feel superior or better than other people. Fighting broke out among a group of 40 men. Fighting broke out among a group of 40 men. You can see here, but the broke out sounds as if something is being broken, as a thing is leaving or exiting. But in this case, it means to start. Something started. So, fighting broke out among a group of 40 men. Fighting started. Fighting began. The thing started. Something broke out. We can also use this to describe a fire that starts. A fire has broken out, or fire broke out. To start, to begin. I'll see to the animals. See to. Now that's an interesting one, because it doesn't really mean anything else except for what it does mean, which is attend to. If you see to something, it means you will attend to it. I'll see to the animals. I will attend to the animals. Or I will take care of the animals. I will go and see if the animals are okay. I will see to them. Don't put me off. I'm trying to concentrate. Don't put me off. I'm trying to concentrate. Put me off means to distract another person or distract them, or maybe another person is distracting you. So, to put someone off is to distract them to the point where they make a mistake. To put a person off. The report spelled out the need for more staff. To spell something out is to clearly explain or express something clearly. The report spelled out the need for more staff. To spell something out is to express or explain something very clearly. So you can see that these are not literal. They are used in a way that we call figurative. So they are figurative uses. There are, of course, many phrasal verbs in many types. We have transitive and intransitive. A phrasal verb can be intransitive. In other words, they have no object. So we can say, we broke up 2 years ago. We finished 2 years ago. The relationship ended 2 years ago. We broke up 2 years ago. They set off early to miss the traffic. Set off means leave. You leave the house. You set off. To begin a journey is to set off. He pulled up outside the cottage. This phrasal verb, pulled up, it means you drive up to a place and stop, normally outside a house. You pull up outside. It means you drive and stop. And of course there are transitive phrasal verbs, which include the police were called to break up the fight. To break up something means to stop or to bring something to an end. You break up the fight. So if two people are fighting, you intervene, you break up the fight. When the door is opened, it sets off an alarm. When the door is opened, it sets off an alarm. To set off is to trigger. To trigger something, to start something by activating it, is to set off. So if you set off an alarm, it means you trigger it, or you make it begin doing the thing it does. You set off an alarm. They pulled the house down and redeveloped the site. They pulled the house down and redeveloped the site. Pulled down. To pull something down is to destroy it, to bring it down to the ground. To pull something down is to demolish. You knock something over or you knock it down. They pulled the house down. They demolished the house. They ripped the house down. They pulled it down. You can see here briefly, I won't go into too much detail here because you can always freeze the video. You can always pause the video later if you want. So the word order, it's quite clearly explained. We broke up 2 years ago. Not we broke 2 years ago up. We broke up. There are many phrasal verbs around. These are just a few. There are actually hundreds of phrasal verbs, and of course new ones are being created all the time. So phrasal verbs come in all shapes and sizes and all different types. I will keep the list on the screen for a few moments. You can always pause the screen later. You can always pause it. Or of course you can pause it now, of course, if you want to pause and look at it. So phrasal verbs include, for example, abide by, ask after, agree with, back away, bash up, blow up, close off, count down, cuddle up, dip into, dive into, duck down, calm down, crawl over, creep up, delve into, dive in, cut up, drop off, carry off, deal with, do without, draw up, eat up, elbow out, enter into, feel up, follow along, force into, go away, grind up, gun for, hang up, hide out, hold against. So that's just a few phrasal verbs there. Do you want to see some more? Do you want to see some more phrasal verbs? I think you do, don't you? Yes, because you're very curious now about phrasal verbs. I can tell. I can feel the vibrations. Iron out. Issue forth. Jabber away. Jazz up. Jump off. Keel over. Key in. That's an interesting one. Key in. That means to enter a number or a code. Quite often when you log onto a computer, or if you have to use a combination lock on a door, you have to key in. Knock down. Lap up. Lap up can mean drink or eat very quickly. In a very hungry or thirsty way, you lap up. Lean on. Look over. Make up. Max out. Max out. That's a good one. That means to spend all of your money. So if you spend all of the money that's available on your credit card, you max out. Do you ever max out? Mess about. Nail down. Nip out. Nip out means to go outside for a short time. You nip out. Note down. Open up. Opt out. Own up. Pass away. Pass away. That means to die. Pay back. Pencil in. Pencil in means to write something down temporarily. Quarrel with. Quieten down. Rack up. Reel in. Run over. Run over. That means to go over something in a vehicle, such as a car. You run over your neighbour's dog. Save up. Save up. That's something I like to do sometimes. Save up. Maybe you are saving up, or maybe you will save up some money. Sell up. Shut down. Stay away. Tag along. Take away. Try on. Urge on. Urge on means to encourage. To urge on. To encourage someone to do something. You urge them on. Use up. Vacuum up. That means to do the vacuuming. If you are using your vacuum cleaner, you vacuum up. Venture forth. Wake up. Wear off. Write down. Yammer on. Some people say that I yammer on sometimes. Yammer on means to talk and talk and talk. You yammer on. Mr. Duncan, you don't half yammer on. Yield off. Finally, the Zs. We have not many phrasal verbs with Z at the beginning. Zero in on. That means to focus on one place, to focus in, or to concentrate on one thing. You zero in on. Zip up. Like your trousers. Maybe you zip up your trousers. A zip. The action of zipping up. You zip up. Zoom in and zoom out. So, just a few phrasal verbs there. There are many, many, many. In fact, I could probably sit here for 3 hours just talking about those phrasal verbs that I've read there. Just those. I could literally sit here for 3 hours talking about them. But I can understand why some people would get a little confused by phrasal verbs. I think the main reason is that phrasal verbs aren't literal. They are figurative. In other words, you use the words figuratively. So that's the reason why that phrasal verbs can be very confusing for those learning English, because they are not literal. They are figurative. So that's the reason why they can be very confusing.